Last video here. So this would be a situation that I generally would have to model for most all my students. So this is asking you again to write the equation of a circle. So you need to know those two things again. What's the radius and what's the center? But they give you the center. So they want a circle shown in the diagram below as a center of negative 5, 3. So there's your negative 5, 3. So the second you have the center, now you know the whole beginning of the equation. So opposite signs, x plus 5, close parentheses, squared, plus y, positive, minus 3 squared equals, but then what does it equal? Well, that becomes a function now of this other point, or any point that you knew for that matter. Now, there's two ways to do this. You could say, hey, I remember my coordinate geometry. Here's the center, here's a point on it. That distance from here to here is called your radius. But more importantly, the more important word was distance. You can do the distance formula, the square root of the change in x squared plus the change in y squared. And you can say, oh, it went from negative 5 to negative 1, that's a change in 4. Went from 3 to 7, change in 4. And you can use the distance formula to figure that out. All right? But remember, that will give you the distance, and in the end of the equation of a circle, you put in r squared. The easier way to do this is to tap into one of those basic principles, which is if this point lies on the graph, then I need to be able to plug it into the equation. So you take the negative 1, 7 that's on the circle, and you just plug that point in since it's on the circle. So you take negative 1, 7. Negative 1 is your x value, so it goes in for that x. 7 is your y value, so it goes in for that y. So I get negative 1 plus 5. I'm still squaring it. All right, I get 7 for the y minus 3. I'm squaring it. So that's 4 squared plus 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. 16, 16 is 32. And that 32 fills this question mark right here. So now you're back to x plus 5 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals what? 32. And that's where the 32 comes from. That's your easiest way to do it. I strongly recommend it that way. And generally, kids don't have a problem with it. It looks complicated in the beginning, but it's really not. All right, so good luck. And again, like always, if you need to watch it again, watch it again. Bye.